welcome back to another soul-shifting episode of the Empowerment Experience, where we don't just talk about change, we live transformation. I'm your host, Broussard, and if you haven't heard this lately, let me remind you, you have the permission to protect your peace, honor your energy, and choose you. Now, in our last episode, we talked about committing to yourself and setting boundaries. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about boundaries that build you. And it's one of the most foundational conversations we can have when it comes to empowerment, self-love, and sustainable success. So if you've ever felt like you're constantly giving but rarely receiving, if you've struggled to say no without guilt, or if you're tired of people treating your kindness like a weakness, this episode is your breakthrough moment. Because today, we're diving deep into the truth about boundaries, not just walls to keep people out, but doors to let the right ones in that sustain the happiness that you already hold within. And at the end of the episode, I have something special for you guys. It's a free downloadable self-love agreement that you can grab right now at stretchyourself.org. It's a personal commitment tool to help you protect what matters most, your energy, your time, and your growth. All right, family, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the foundations of boundaries. Let's start with the real talk, okay? Now, most people think that boundaries are something that's external, like I don't let people talk to me like that, or I don't answer the phone after 9 p.m. But here's what I've learned in my own life and in coaching thousands of clients around the world. Boundaries aren't just what you set for other people. Boundaries are what you believe you deserve. Let me say that again. Boundaries are what you believe you deserve. Boundaries are what you want to have in your life. Now, I have a client named Keisha. She's from Chicago. She came to me burnt out and bitter. She's a very successful event planner in Chicago who's known for doing everything for everyone. Friends, family, clients, community members. Everyone leans on her and relies on her. But guess what, guys? At the end of the day, no one was showing up for her. So when we sat down, we talked and we had our sessions, I asked her about her boundaries. And she said, Ron, I don't know. I just don't know. I just try to be there for everybody. I try to be there for family. I told her, Keisha, listen, if you're constantly abandoning yourself to prove your loyalty to others, that's not love. That's martyrdom. And martyrdom doesn't empower anyone. So we began working on a small shift, just setting a boundary with herself. Her first step wasn't saying no to others. It was basically her saying yes to herself, saying yes to rest, saying yes to scheduled self-care, to blocking time, saying yes to blocking time on her calendar for her own goals. Now let's fast forward a year from now, 6 months from now. Keisha had hired 2 assistants. She increased her prices on what she was services, and she started dating again and even took a solo trip to Belize. All because she stopped seeing boundaries as a rejection and started seeing them as redirection, guys, back to herself. And that's what boundaries are for. Boundaries are not like a brick wall to push people out. Boundaries is redirection back to yourself so you can allow those things that you want to have in your life. Because you see, the strongest boundaries start with self-love. You can't expect others to honor what you don't protect. Does that make sense? Now, there's 2 types of boundaries we're going to talk about that can transform your life. They're static and dynamic boundaries. Let's get into them very deeply. Now, static boundaries are your non-negotiables. These are boundaries that grow with you. These are lines that you don't cross no matter what. Think of them like the foundation of your own house. Without them, everything crumbles. Now, anybody that's been on the Empowerment Experience podcast knows I love the juicy juice. So I'm going to tell you my static boundaries. I got to get up early in the morning time because guess what? I'm going to pray, meditate, connecting to source, God, your higher power, whatever you believe in. That's what I'm doing first in that silent mode, giving that gratitude. Then from there, I'm going to work out. After I work out, I set my intentions for the day. Those are my non-negotiables. Does that make sense? So let me talk about one of my clients that I worked with before. His name was Jamal. He's a personal trainer from Atlanta. So when he first came to me, man, he was working crazy. He was working 14-hour days, and he felt like he wasn't doing enough. He had no time for rest. And the worst thing was, guys, he's a personal trainer, and he was not even working out for himself. Now, just imagine that. A personal trainer who doesn't have the time to take care of his own body. So what we did working together was we worked together to define his own static boundaries that he committed to. Now, what he committed to was very, very simple. Number one, ending all of his sessions by 6 p.m. And then number two, having those rest days, no clients on Sundays, and then 2 hours each morning for his own training and journaling. The results of that, guys, he didn't lose clients. Guess what? He gained respect. People began valuing his time because he started valuing himself. He started charging more, sleeping better. And guess what, guys? He's just now recently launched a digital fitness program. I'm very proud of him. Now, then you have your dynamic boundaries, guys. These are the ones that evolve as you do. They adjust to the seasons of your life. Now, static boundaries, I'm going to use myself as an example. We all have goals and endeavors that we want to achieve. So once we achieve them in those categories in our life, guess what? We're going to set another goal that's going to evolve as you grow. It's going to evolve with you. So let's talk about Tasha, one of the clients that I worked with out of Houston. She just launched her own coaching business. Now, in the first year, her boundaries were very, very basic. She had 1 day off per week. She set a bedtime and only responded to emails during the work hours. But as she grew, guess what? So did her boundaries. She upgraded to weekly massages. She trained a virtual assistant to manage her own client communication. And she started saying no to clients who didn't align with her values. Tasha told me, guys, every time I leveled up my boundaries, my income followed. And that, my friends, is the truth. Your boundaries are not walls. They're filters that attract what nourishes you and repels what drains that energy that you have. Now, use myself again for the same example. When I first started out in my business, I remember, man, I was doing $50 an hour per session with my coaching clients, and it was draining me. Why was it draining me? The reason it was draining me is because I didn't feel like I was getting my value. I wasn't valuing myself. And I talked about that to my own mentor. And my mentor told me, increase your fees. Man, guys, I got to tell you, to be honest with you, when he did that, that really hit me home, because I was like, man, I started doubting myself and doubting my abilities. And that's where that mark was. That's where I had that breakthrough point. That's where I had that stretch moment where I realized, man, I was putting my own parameters on myself. So I raised my fees and I started getting better clients. And then I went even further than just raising my fees. I started visualizing and writing down my intentions and the type of clients that I wanted to have. And as I did, everything increased and it started growing. And that, my friends, again, those boundaries are not walls. They're filters that's going to attract what nourishes you and repels that energy that what drains you. Now, I have a personal statement that I say, I always attract the right clients that I'm always happy with working with, and they're happy with working with me, and we make some incredible breakthroughs. Does that make sense? Now, in this segment, we're going to talk about the boundary myths that keep us stuck, because a lot of times we are all talking about different things. We hear about a lot of things on different social media. We listen to different social sites. And let's just bust a few myths that keep so many people trapped in those cycles of burnout and resentment. The first myth is that boundaries are selfish. Guys, the truth is boundaries are self-respect in action. Just remember, guys, you can't pour from an empty cup. Meaning, if you don't have that energy to give, you can't pour from something that you don't have. That's why I always like to make sure I have my non-negotiables up front so that I can fill myself up. I always tell people I like to give from the cup, from the saucer of my cup, not the cup. Does that make sense? Now, the second myth is people will leave you if I set boundaries. Truth is, yes, people are going to leave you. The wrong people might, and the right ones won't. And guess what, guys? That's the point. That's the point. If it's going to make you happy, it's going to make you enjoy yourself, it's going to make you have that peace, that's what you want to have. And then the third myth, boundaries mean conflict. And the truth to that is, clear boundaries prevent confusion and resentment, which reduces conflict. One of my pet peeves, guys, is communication. I love to communicate. And so when I'm communicating my boundaries, there's a clear understanding which will reduce that conflict or an argument about what you said or what you didn't say. Take, for example, one of my clients, his name is Deshaun. He's a real estate broker out of Charlotte, right? He believed all these myths. He was afraid to enforce time boundaries with his team. He didn't want to seem mean or unavailable, guys. Check this out. What was the cost of that? He missed time with his kids, weekend anxiety, lack of intimacy in his marriage. So when we started working together, guys, we reframed his boundaries as leadership. And when Deshaun began holding consistent hours and honoring his own calendar, everything improved. His team respected his time more. His clients became more responsive. And more importantly, he became a present father and husband again. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about pulling your priorities closer. Now, in this segment, guys, we're going to talk about how to set boundaries with love and power. Now, one of the things about setting boundaries, and I know, and I'm saying it because I say it to myself, we feel like we're being guilty because we're setting expectations above everybody else except our own. Guys, let me make you understand. Priority one is that person that you're looking at in the mirror. Just take this for an example, guys. You're flying on the plane, and what does the airline stewardess say? In the case of turbulence, the oxygen mask is going to drop down. What do you have to do first? You have to secure your mask first, right? Then you secure it for those people that's around you that's not able to help themselves. That is the same thing that happens in self-love, guys. You have to fill yourself up. You have to implement boundaries without guilt. It's going to feel like it's going to feel guilty sometimes. It's going to feel like, man, but it's going to feel good, guys. It's going to feel good. I tell you that because, man, honestly, 5 years ago, I just learned how to say no. That was one of my boundaries. I felt guilty saying no and going places that I didn't feel like going to and doing things that I didn't feel like doing. That was wasting my time and my energy and my finances. So enough of that. Let's just break down about how to actually implement those boundaries so you don't feel guilty. First thing you need to do is just start small. Choose one area to begin, whether it's in your time, in your energy, in your finances, or even in your relationships, and including your relationship with yourself. And what I say about that with your relationship with yourself, guys, how you spend time on that boob tube, how you spend time on social media, all those time-consuming things, that's in your time. That's a relationship that you have with yourself. Now, the second one is to communicate clearly to everyone. Guys, I know that's one of those hard things. You think you're going to step on people's toes. You think you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. You're not going to do that. When you communicate clearly, you're setting clear boundaries. Everybody knows and understands where you come from. Now, the third thing, guys, is you're going to expect pushback. That's normal, guys. Just stay grounded and stay firm in your boundaries and stay 10 toes down for yourself. And what I mean by that is, number 4, hold the line, guys. If you cave, if you give in, if you give in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you're training people to test you, to challenge you. And that's not what you want to happen. You want to make sure that whatever you says is what you mean. And that's basically it, guys. And then the last one is reward yourself, guys. Boundaries are wins. They're not something that you got to push past them. They're something that you got to celebrate. Does that make sense? So one of the tools that I've created for my clients is called the Self-Love Agreement. And guess what? You can download it free right now at stretchyourself.org. This is not just a checklist, guys. It's a declaration. Now, I highly recommend you to post it wherever you need to post it, whether it's in your mirror, in your bathroom, on your refrigerator. But this is a declaration of the agreement that you have with yourself that you're going to commit yourself to. It's a declaration that says, I will no longer sacrifice myself to serve others. I deserve relationships that nourish, not deplete. And we all know those ones. Okay, I gotta go off note. We all know those ones, right? This is the call that you get on the phone, right? And you see the name on your cell phone, and immediately you get energy drained from you just seeing the name on the phone. So you understand. I deserve relationships that nourish, not deplete. And then I honor my time, my heart, and my voice. Now, you can print this out. You can download it. When you sign this agreement, guys, you're setting your intentions. You're not just writing your name on a document. You're writing your truth on your life, guys. Now, the great thing about it is, guys, when you start setting boundaries, here's the incredible thing that happens, guys. The ripple effect of those boundaries. And here's what I want you to remember. Boundaries just don't benefit you, guys. They elevate everyone around you. How does that happen? It elevates everyone around you because they understand that you're valuing yourself. And then guess what? You as an example are showing them that they can value themselves as well. Set those times, set those intentions. Now, I had a client, her name is Shanice. She's in Detroit, hairstylist. She started closing her salon at 6 p.m. instead of 9. Her teenage daughter said something that brought tears to her eyes, guys, because she was staying out late every night. Mom, I love having dinner with you again. Boundaries restored that relationship. When Marcus, a corporate leader in D.C., he stopped checking on his emails on the weekend, he started mentoring young black men through a local nonprofit. That boundaries that he created for himself made space for a purpose that's in his life. And when you begin to protect your peace, prioritize your values, and honor your relationships and honor your true worth, guess what happens, guys? You give others permission to do the same. That make sense? Now, boundaries is not a brick wall. It's a blueprint for your next breakthrough. Now, in closing, family, I want to leave you with this. The world will only treat you as well as you treat you. So, let today be the day that you stop waiting for others to give you permission. You already have it, guys. So, the first thing you need to do is just go download the self-love agreement at stretchyourself.org. Make that a personal promise today. Subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode that comes out every week that stretches your mind, heart, and future. And explore my books, courses, and coaching programs at stretchyourself.org to go even deeper on your self-love journey. Remember, guys, you are worthy of protection. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of power. And as always, keep stretching. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Empowerment Experience. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here listening to me. And I appreciate that. Guys, you can listen to many episodes like this and others on all social sites. Connect with me at stretchyourself.org. Thanks for listening.